So I never usually know what I'm about to say, especially when I start a live. And I'd definitely say it was not last week, I think it was a few days ago. I was looking back, and the last video I'd done was 6 months ago, and I was saying, well, it was more of an update of what I've been doing and what's been happening, what has happened since my 200-day juice fast. And I think I've just been overwhelmed with a lot of information that I've kind of received. A lot of changes have happened, especially in this last 6 months as well. And I guess I never really know where to start, especially with all the information that I have, but I feel like it's important to share. So this video is really just more of a get back on live and find my bearings, because it's so easy for me to just kind of live my life, yeah, and not really share so much. But I think it's important. I think it's very important, and especially for the way that my life has kind of turned out, and then all these new discoveries and things that I'm kind of coming into contact with, that I have to use my voice to share. But first things first, yeah, for the last month I've been doing a lot of dry fasting, which was very intuitive. It wasn't something that I was even thinking about doing, but I guess it was probably there subconsciously, and I've been getting a lot of information from that, and just my whole reality has just shifted completely. And I'd never have thought that this would be something that I'd be doing ever, but what I've got from it is not short of amazement. And I think I've said before, even just like my whole journey, I never came into it with health problems. So, and looking around and like even seeing other people's journeys, I know that a lot of people have come into whether it's like juicing, fasting, or just like adapting and changing their lifestyle due to illness or disease, or something's pushed them in that direction to make a change, like almost like the last straw. Whereas for me, it was definitely like an intuitive thing, where it's like, oh, more of curiosity. And I think a lot of the stuff that I've been reading is like, I raised like it kind of give me this different awareness, or just like an outlook. And I've always been someone that doesn't want to, I'm not someone that preaches something that I've not done myself. You know, I do believe in that, practice what you preach. So yeah, everything that I've done is pretty much been because I've experienced it myself. But something I want to mention is, in the title I put, use the tools to make your own rules. And I think sometimes we can read a lot of books, you know, sometimes we get drawn to, you know, whether it's celebrities or famous people, because they might have experienced or might have had a similar experience to you, in a sense of, you know, if you've went through certain things as a child, this person might have gone through the same thing, and now they've gone on to achieve great things. And sometimes we can go by their rules, and you kind of put a cap on your potential, because now you're thinking, you're taking in what they've done and the things that they might have incorporated into their life to get to a certain point, and now you kind of base your life subconsciously around what they're doing. And I think it's good to remember that, you know, having a reference and having these tools in place to help you out of a situation is good, but also being open to acknowledging that actually you can achieve, not necessarily better, because it just is, but you can go on to achieve some great things. It's just like, you might have an idea of becoming this, I don't know, a doctor, and that's all you're focused on, and you're doing all the training for it, but now it's starting to feel you're pushing yourself to do something that actually it doesn't feel comfortable and natural to do. And I think these are the telling signs of if something is for you and if something's not for you. Yes, you can get to that thing, but at the same time, it's like you have to be aware, you have to be self-aware enough to know that actually this isn't what I want to do. And yes, you can have external influences, you know, family can play a massive part, parents can play a huge part, you know, because you might think, oh, you want to please this person or whatever, but ultimately it's your journey. And it's just remembering that you can use these tools and life can change. And I will always say it's about, you know, if you can get into a place of being present, that will just, yeah, you'll see, and you'll find that actually life is just so amazing. Like, you can be in such an amazing place by just being present. But to get into this place, like for me, it's like acknowledging the past, acknowledging the things that I'd been through, and really owning it, and really just like standing in that light. You know, you can see it as darkness, but standing in that light. And yeah, just like, it's hard to explain because everyone experiences things differently. But when you can truly come out the other side and not be dismissive of what you've gone through, but acknowledge what you've gone through and appreciate what you've gone through, you know, no matter how big or small the situation that you might have been in has been, and then you're able to talk and share about it to other people and help them on their journey, possibly. And then not looking at the future in the sense of, yes, it's cool to have goals, it's cool to have things to aim for, but having these things as, okay, well, more of a reference point of, oh, this would be cool to get to that place, or cool to get to this point, or yeah, having some sort of an ambition to achieve something. But then you have to ask yourself, who is that for? Is that for you? And what do you think that thing's going to make you feel? So when you can kind of bring it back and just like have these things, this reference, and, you know, acknowledge the things that you've kind of gone through, you're able to stand in this present and really just own it, and really be open to what the universe is trying to show you and what it's trying to give you. And for me, I think just by my exposure to things, I can only speak on my own experiences, I think this is what has led me to where I am currently, and definitely where I am going. I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what's happening next, but you know, when you just know when the journey feels right, and it just feels, yeah, I don't know where I'm going, but it just feels so right. And yeah, I think that's just it's a frequency, it's a feeling, and we all have the opportunity to get to that point, but not everyone will. I think I've expressed that before. Not everyone will. You know, people say we are equal, we're all equal, but if you acknowledge that there's a universal law, yes, we all have the same potential, but are you abiding by the laws of the universe? Now, one might ask, what are the laws of the universe? I don't know. But one thing I can say is, for me personally, the things that I'm doing in my life currently and what I have been doing has kind of opened more doors for me. So to me, these things feel right. I feel good. I don't feel like there's any restriction on my life at all. And if we're talking about food, if we're talking about my lifestyle, I don't feel like there's any restriction, because if I really wanted that thing, then I could just stop what I'm doing and do that thing. There's no one holding anything to me to say, oh, do that thing. But yeah, it's just remember as well that we all have opportunity. We all have a choice. We all have a choice. Even when you feel like you don't have a choice, or don't have a even when you feel like you don't have a choice to do something, we all have a choice. Like, you decided to do that thing. So when you're able to take true accountability, that's, for me, is where your growth comes from. So self-awareness, accountability is what gives you the growth that you need for you. Because I know we've all done it. I can't speak for everybody else, but I've definitely done it in the past where I can push the blame onto something else. Years ago, I used to push the blame on. It's like, oh, that's not my fault. Even for people, it doesn't matter who you're with. If you're in a relationship with somebody else and they have done something to you or treating you a certain way, even that, like, you can take the accountability and say, do you know what, actually it was me that decided to be with that person. Yes, you might not have expected that outcome to happen, but at the same time, it's like you decided that. So how are you going to move forward? Are you just going to stay in that thing and push the blame and say that's your fault? Or are you going to take accountability to be like, do you know what, actually, I know my worth. I'm going to remove myself, and actually getting involved in somebody else, I'm going to take a bit more time. You know, it's just about acknowledging your experiences and moving forward. And yeah, some people will use people as a crutch to move forward. People use drugs as a crutch. People use alcohol as a crutch. People use money as a crutch. People use everything as a crutch. Food can also be a crutch as well. So yeah, I'm starting to just have a deeper understanding of a lot of things, and it's quite cool, especially like even with like the dry fasting that I've been doing. You know, you might have that perception of, oh, like I remember I did before, especially when people fast during Ramadan and they're not drinking or eating. I was thinking, whoa, like you're just probably gonna have to stay at home and do nothing. But obviously over time I've done the juicing thing, and then obviously I've dropped that, and I had more of an experience with dry fasting, and now like I can go the whole day without nothing, and I am full of energy. I can still do things, and I definitely put that to the test when I'm doing like my exercising. And I think the biggest thing was for me is like I remember I think I was a day into dry fasting, and I decided to do some skipping. And I was listening to a YouTube video, and I was just skipping away. Don't get me wrong, my heart was beating, like I was everything was, I was getting hot and stuff, but at the same time it's like I didn't feel tired. I never felt tired, and I continued. Even when I stopped, I wasn't out of breath or anything. And yeah, I hadn't had a drink before, hadn't had any food or anything afterwards. And I've been watching a lot of content on this whole subject of fasting, and it's interesting. It's definitely interesting, but I'm gonna keep this one short because yeah, like I said, I just wanted to kind of get back on here again. And yeah, if you do have any questions, then yeah, drop me a message. There's a lot of things to come. Also click the link in my bio, got some information there. And for me, it's about, you know, sometimes I just talk and that thing might hit, but I just talk about things that just kind of come to me. So yeah, I feel like I have a lot of information to share, but I think it would all just be expressed and shared when I feel the time's right. But like I said, if you have any questions, then I could probably use that for another video. But yeah, yeah, it's so interesting. What's so interesting is being able to like really like just read energy, really feel the room. And yeah, when you have nothing that's messing around with your chemistry, you can definitely feel things and see things in a different light. Yeah, I'm definitely an observer. I'm definitely been observing a lot more. Yeah, so it's interesting. But yeah, if you have any subject topics that you would like me to talk about on another video, let me know. But yeah, I would say I'm going to start doing more videos, but the last time I said that was 6 months ago, so I'm not going to say that. It's just going to happen when it's meant to happen. But yeah, I hope, you know, everyone, yeah, I wish everyone gets the information that they need and require to take themselves to the next level. For me, I feel like there's a lot of things that are very clear, but yeah, it's not my journey, and I can only be accountable for myself. And I feel like me just living my life the way I live my life, I can be an example. So this is why I'm doing these videos. But it's very easy for me not to come on camera and just to kind of live my life, but I feel like it's important at the same time. So yeah, I hope everyone's well. I hope they get the information that they need, and yeah, just send me a message if you have anything, a burning question or any topics that you want me to discuss. And yeah, I have YouTube, which has all my videos, all my live videos that I've done on Instagram, and I also have some other links in my Instagram, which is an account which is full of information that you might be interested in looking at if you're called to, but if not, then yeah. And what I will do is I will talk about that in another video. But my diet, or I say my lifestyle, is pretty much raw, and I officially decided to start my raw journey last July. I got a lot of delicious foods that I make, and yeah, if you go on my Instagram account, you'll see a lot of the stuff, but I have a lot of stuff to come as well. But yeah, predominantly raw foods. I make a lot of raw foods, juices. Yeah, it sounds pretty plain, but my foods are good. Like, my foods are so nice. But yeah, I will share. I will probably talk about more in another video, or probably take some do a video and maybe show you what I make. But yeah, I think that's it really. Yeah, just be open. Remember not to use somebody else's life as the end goal, but more as a tool to grow, so that you're not putting a cap and a roof on your true potential. But yeah, I hope everyone's well, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Well, you'll see me soon. I won't see you soon. You'll see me soon.